Why you feel like a side character in your own life. Have you ever noticed that your life feels real, but slightly out of focus? Like things happen to you, but rarely through you. You make decisions, you show up, you keep moving, and yet somewhere underneath, it feels like you're watching yourself from a few steps behind. Not absent, not unhappy, just secondary, like you're playing a supporting role in a story that's supposed to be yours. This feeling doesn't announce itself loudly. It hides in small moments. You let others choose the restaurant. Even when you have a preference, you adapt your tone, your opinions, your energy, depending on who you're with. You delay things that matter to you until conditions feel right. You're not passive. You're responsive. Life feels like something you manage instead of something you author. Psychologically, this often shows up as low internal priority. Your needs aren't ignored. They're just postponed. Again and again. And over time, you begin to experience yourself as a background character in your own narrative. Here's the important part. This isn't a flaw. It's an adaptation. Your brain didn't decide to make you small. It learned that being attuned was safer than being directive. In psychology, this is closely related to self-concept development and relational conditioning. If early on, your environment rewarded you for being agreeable, emotionally aware, or low maintenance, your nervous system learned a rule. Pay attention outward first. Figure yourself out later. That strategy works, especially in unpredictable or emotionally complex environments. But what once protected you can later make your own agency feel distant. You're not broken. You're overdapted. Let's slow this down. Imagine your mind as a theater. There's a spotlight on the stage, and rows of seats in the dark. For many people, their internal goals, desires, and impulses stand naturally in the spotlight. For you, the spotlight learned to swivel outward. Other people's moods, expectations, context. This isn't personality weakness. It's attentional conditioning. Neuroscience shows that attention strengthens whatever it rests on. Over time, your brain builds stronger neural pathways for monitoring rather than initiating. This involves the anterior cingulate cortex, conflict monitoring; the default mode network, self-referential thought; the prefrontal cortex, decision-making. When your self-concept is shaped around responsiveness, your default mode network doesn't ask, "What do I want?" It asks, "What's expected here?" So your life becomes a series of reactions. Not because you lack desire, but because desire never learned to speak first. This isn't about being confident or forcing bold action. It's about retraining attention. Here are 4 psychological principles to shift your role gently and sustainably. 1. Separate awareness from authority. You're very good at awareness, but awareness doesn't need to be in charge. Psychologically, this is about decoupling monitoring from decision-making. Practice noticing without obeying. When you sense others' needs, pause before adjusting. Ask internally, is this information or instruction? Most of the time, it's just information. Your brain learned to evaluate desires before they're even fully formed. That shuts them down early. Instead, practice numbing without judging. I want rest. I want quiet. I want to leave. No justification. No comparison. In cognitive psychology, this strengthens desire representation. Before social filtering kicks in, desire needs airtime. Before it needs logic. Agency grows in low-stakes environments. Your nervous system needs proof that choosing yourself doesn't cause collapse. One small private choice daily rewires the association between self-direction and safety. This works through reinforcement learning. Your brain updates its model. Nothing bad happened when I led. That's how patterns change. This is subtle. Appropriateness is social logic. Truth is internal signal. When you default to appropriateness, you outsource authorship. When you return to truth, even silently, you reclaim narrative ownership. This engages the insula, the brain region tied to internal state awareness. Truth doesn't need to be acted on immediately. It just needs to be acknowledged. Visual heartbeat like pulse of light. Here's the model to remember. You are not a side character. You are a camera operator who forgot to turn the lens inward. Nothing is missing. Nothing needs to be added. Just a gradual reorientation. From scanning right arrow to sensing. From reacting right arrow to referencing. From managing right arrow to inhabiting. Your life doesn't need a dramatic rewrite. It needs consistent point of view. You don't need to become louder, or sharper, or more assertive. You only need to take your internal experience seriously enough to let it exist before it's useful. The moment you stop treating yourself as background context, the story changes. Not all at once, but quietly, persistently. And one day, you'll notice something subtle. You're no longer watching your life happen. You're standing inside it.